Good morning, everybody, and welcome to VG Myths, the online internet video game TV show that doesn't solve mysteries, has never solved mysteries, and is shocked and appalled by the accusation of ever having associated with busters of the myth variety. After blatantly cheating our way through a no-damage run of Rockman 1, Dr. Wily's taken a stance against our glitch-exploiting ways with 8 new robot bosses out for Rockman's head. What kind of dastardly traps has he set to make us lose our perfect score? There's only one way to find out. Can you beat Rockman 2 without getting hit? Once again, we're playing the Mega Man Legacy Collection release, and only features available in the original Famicom release are allowed. Save states and auto-fire are banned. After our prior embarrassingly easy takedown of Wily, he's made some drastic improvements to make the sequel 10 times harder. The game's overall length has been increased with 2 extra starting bosses plus a few more Wily stages, making this endurance challenge require just about double the endurance. Even more terrifyingly, we've lost the greatest weapon in our arsenal. The select button no longer pauses the game, and thus the pause glitch has been completely erased. I'm sorry to say it, but if you want to beat Rockman 2 without getting hit, you'll have to stoop to the lowest possible level, fighting fair. Choosing the right stage order is crucial to standing a chance at finishing the run, with every new weapon opening up new strategies to ease the pain in later levels. Surprising no one, I recommend making everybody's favorite dentist, Metal Man, your first target. Metal Man's stage is the easiest without any roadblocks, and Metal Man himself features a simple and exploitable pattern. But your reward is the absolute best weapon in the game, Metal Blade. Take it into Bubble Man's stage for a test drive. This thing is a gigantic upgrade over the Buster. It does more damage, pierces through any enemy it kills, fires in 8 directions, and its ammo consumption is so low you'll practically never run out. When fighting Bubble Man, I never found a 100% consistent strategy, but he's early enough in the run I never bothered. Jump up when his first shots get close, fall past his 4th shot, and you should kill him before he gets a chance to do anything else. Lead Bubble is Heat Man's weakness, so we're heading for him next. This route does unfortunately require you to do the entire disappearing block maze without item number 2, but Airman happens to have that, and we are nowhere near ready to take him on. We also meet our first Armor Joe near the end of the level. These guys appear throughout the game and are extremely dangerous, but easily exploited. As long as you're in midair when the armor lands, he'll skip trying to attack and instead make another hop. Run right under him and jump when he lands to make it safely to Heat Man's room. Heat Man will always throw the same volley of flames at the beginning of your fight. Fire lead Bubble and jump between the gap. From there, keep the heat on and always attack him before he gets the chance. RNG decides how fast he chases you, but even in the worst case scenario, you've got enough time and space to dodge and take him out. Killing Heat Man gives both Atomic Fire and item number 1, both of which are crucial in the upcoming stages. Woodman stage features the only 3 fire-breathing wolves in the game, and luckily you only have to fight 1. The other 2 can be killed from outside their attack range with Metal Blade. This is also the first appearance of Pee-Pee. If their eggs touch the ground, a swarm of babies will pop out. Keep them at bay by spamming Metal Blades diagonally upright whenever they're about to spawn. Just before the boss door is one of the absolute worst rooms in the entire game, the Cuckoo Room. These incessantly flailing chickens have probably ended more runs than any other enemy. On flat land, you'll always be safe by just walking a little bit to the right, but at the gaps in the beginning, I have absolutely no idea. Pray to General Clux and make a run for it. If the chickens take pity on you and let you face Woodman, charge up Atomic Fire ASAP, hug the left wall, and jump as the first falling leaves near the ground. 2 fully charged Atomic Fire Blasts will kill Woodman before the second set of falling leaves can reach you. Now that we've got Leaf Shield, we're ready for the unstoppable monster himself, Airman. Much of the level is guarded by more Pee-Pee, so be on your guard and never let them drop a single egg. And keep in mind, item number 1 makes the ogre platforms way easier to jump past. Once you reach the boss door, prepare to die. Airman's difficulty is heavily dependent on RNG. He'll randomly select one of 3 tornado patterns and blow them all, plus you, to the edge of the screen. After 3 volleys, he'll jump over to your side, where you've got enough time to spam out 4 leaf shields and take the kill. So our goal is simple: survive 3 tornado volleys in a row. Some patterns are easier than others, and by that I mean sometimes Airman literally decides you lose. Unless you use one special tactic that can remove Airman's RNG from the equation. Remember when I said we weren't ready to beat Airman before Heat Man? Check this out. Whenever you stand on an item number 1 platform, the blowing wind momentum on both Rockman and the tornadoes glitches out and stalls to near 0. Airman won't blow out his next gust until every tornado is off screen, so stalling them with item number 1 gives us both a path out of harm's way and time to prepare. If it turns out his gust is dodgeable from ground level, get back down there and make your play, but otherwise climb around the volley. Be extra careful up there and spawn your next platform extremely close by. Physics are absolutely broken and the wind momentum will start back up whenever you enter a jumping state. And absolutely do not touch the boss door. Just trust me, things get weird. One last note, you can't switch weapons until the last instance of your current weapon has despawned, so wait out your final platform before jumping down. Airman's still an incredibly painful damageless boss, but even in the worst possible scenario, victory is decided by your own skill. With Airman dead, congratulations! This is officially a run! After that ludicrous pain, the next couple stages are break levels. PP makes a return on the ladder ascent on Clashman stage, but smart leaf shield use will keep you safe. On Clashman himself, hold right, fire air shooter, and make a small hop. If you haven't gotten hit by the time Clashman passes over, victory is yours. Flashman stage could potentially be a run ender through no fault of your own if you take the wrong path, but thankfully we have the magically omniscient superpower of memorization and can take the safest path every time. Flashman's weakness is crash bombs, but Metal Blade does almost as much damage with way more spam potential. Hit him 4 times as he runs towards you, jump over, then make 3 hits on retreat. Do it fast enough and he'll have no chance to counter. Welcome to the final of the initial 8, Quickman. Most of the level has you dodging instant death light beams, which I sincerely hope you already memorized years before considering a Mr. Perfect run. Once you reach the boss door, get ready for what just might be one of the hardest, most RNG bosses in Rockman history. No, seriously, trust me. You're supposed to be shaking in your boots. Normally, Quickman is an RNG nightmare that jumps around the entire screen at lightning speed, but his one weakness is ironically his immunities. If Quickman takes no damage from an attack, he insists on striking a pose to show off just how unbeatable he is. During this pose, we can swap weapons, damage him, and swap back to keep the cycle going. This isn't a completely airtight strategy though. You can't swap back until the last instance of your weapon despawns, and the pose is extremely quick. Even a couple extra frames of leeway could be your undoing. Depending on where both of you are positioned, the fastest despawning weapon will be either Metal Blade or Leaf Shield. Make an executive decision and pray to your lucky tank as you whittle down his health. Once his health bar reaches halfway, switch to Time Stopper and watch as Quickman pathetically sits still to death. You've conquered all 8 starting levels and can move on to the final stretch, the Wily stages. From now on, your depleted weapon energy stays constant till the end of the run, so keep an eye on every meter and make an active effort to refill what you need most. Mecha Dragon has no invulnerability frame, so spam the Buster and keep yourself a safe distance from its mouth. Also, you lose all control after killing a stage boss, so please land the final shot while on solid grounds. Refill every weapon to full on the Flyboys at the beginning of Wily Stage 2, then make your way across the spiked chasm and grab the second ladder. Watch out while climbing down. There's one room where you could accidentally fall straight into an enemy bullet. A few screens down, you'll reach what might be the most stressful room in the entire run, the drill tunnel. When I say stressful, I don't mean hard. It's actually easy, and that's the problem. Constantly spam jump and shoot as you tiptoe forward with the most ludicrously over-the-top baby strats gaming's ever seen. Take nothing for granted and leave your speedrunning shoes at the door. Use Time Stopper when you reach the side-by-side crushers. We are gonna need to refill it later, but I'd much rather do a bit of farming than thread that needle. Pico Pico-kun luckily has no RNG. He always spawns with exactly the same pattern. Memorize the order and take each of them out with 3 Metal Blades each. Wily Stage 3 is short and is mostly static spike tunnels, but the final room has a cramped hallway with bullet-spewing enemies ready to ambush you just off-screen. This is going to look like I'm showing off, but no, trust me, this is legitimately the safest possible strategy. I am sweating bullets here. Guts Dozer's attack pattern is consistent and leaves a blind spot just in front of his treads. While you're grounded, he'll always launch a bouncing met, and while you're airborne, he'll always spit out a bullet. Jump up, throw out a quick boomerang, return to your safe spot, take a breather, and repeat. Keep your cool, and eventually Wily's latest greatest Gutsman action figure will be thrown in the trash. At the beginning of Wily Stage 4 is a single met. Mission failed. At the beginning of Wily Stage 4 is a single met. Walk slightly left of the ladder, launch Leaf Shield, then run right. You'll probably need a new pair of pants, but otherwise you should somehow get through unscratched. In the Armor Joe room at the end, fully charge Atomic Fire, inch forward to find the Sniper Joe, then take him out before he can fire a shot. In front of the boss door is another lone Sniper Joe, the final generic enemy in the entire game. This is your last chance to refill on weapon energy for the final boss gauntlet, and you are going to want most of it maxed. Continuously murder this poor guy and be absolutely ludicrously careful not to let the off-screen Armor Joe jump towards you. You'll probably have a couple dozen heart attacks, but eventually you'll have all the weapon energy you need to enter the fight with Boo Beam. Boo Beam and its walls can only be destroyed by clash bombs, and since we just passed by the last ammo refueling station, you must absolutely not waste a single shot. You also might be wondering how we're going to dodge Boo Beam, and that's a silly question. We're not! Though the pause menu may have been removed, its spirit lives on in the weapon menu, since, let's face it, everybody just uses the weapon menu as a pause button anyway. Boo Beam's bullets don't quite work properly and can't hurt you during the transition period when exiting the weapon menu. Whenever you're about to get shot at, constantly pause and unpause until the bullets pass by. This trick makes the fight totally safe, provided you remember to leave enough time for your weapon to despawn. Bomb only the walls that are absolutely necessary, plus make sure you hit the top weak point and door below it with a single shot. If you conserve your ammo properly, Boo Beam will be dead with exactly one crash bomb remaining in your inventory. On to the final level, Wily Stage 5. Each of the 8 original stage bosses are back for revenge in the teleporter room. Logic dictates we should fight the harder ones first, but screw that! Instead, fight the bosses you'd be the most embarrassed to lose to first. Think about it. How absolutely crushing would it feel if you managed to beat the Airman rematch only to die against Metal Man? The shame would be so great you could never pick up a controller again. Minor but extremely important note, the boss arenas are all on flat ground this time, have ceilings, and start you out a little bit further to the right. This makes Airman have a tiny bit less wiggle room, but for the other bosses, the clear arena makes them easier. If you somehow manage to take down all 8 bosses a second time, congratulations! Every single hard part of the game is over. If you mess up now, the shame is quadrupled. Wily Machine number 2's first phase has a totally consistent pattern. Keep hugging the left wall and jump over every shot in a rhythm. Get him to exactly 1 HP, wait until he's somewhat close to the left edge of the screen, nail the last hit, and prepare yourself for the most important shot in the entire game. Switch to Crash Bomb while his second health bar fills, wait for him to retreat, and aim just below the cockpit. The Crash Bomb explosion is his weakness and deals damage multiple times in a row, blowing up Wily Machine number 2 in record time. We're not quite done yet though. Dr. Wily plot twists his way into the double final level, Wily Stage 6. Thankfully, this one is a victory lap. The water droplets can be dodged with the long-forgotten secret technique of avoiding the ouchies. At the end of the path, Dr. Wily reveals he was an alien all along for the true final battle. Yeah, it turns out it's just been canon this entire time. The later games never really touch on it. It's a little weird. But like I said, it's a victory lap. Alien Wily has a simpler pattern than even Metal Man. Be as absolutely patient as you need, don't take any unnecessary risks, try not to drop your controller, and feel free to scream out in celebration as his health bar reaches 0. With Dr. Wily thoroughly phoned home, the Rockman 2 Mr. Perfect run is mission complete. And holy mother of cheese on a holy cracker, wow! Wow, never again! Before heading out, special thanks to YouTube channel Not Entirely Sure, who did their own no damage run in 2011. Their video is how I found out about the pause glitch Redux. Plus, if you want more in-depth explanations on a run that would be a bit more hardcore, an apocalyptic flock of little birdies told me Rome Mithril has done Buster-only no damage videos about most levels in the classic series. And if you want to see my own successful run in its entirety, I streamed it live and archived the final successful attempt. Link in the description. And finally, special thanks to all Patreon backers, including Andrew Seibert, Mrs. Seckman, Eric Flynn, Leslam, RB Drock, Adam, the Totally Normal Human Beings, All in O, Mr. Harry Wonka, Alexander Botkin, Chris Nate, Anyu, Salieri, Ikrira, Jez, Robert B. Brashier, Citrus Lush, Zaina Bay, VCR Main Sound, Joshua Bradbury, Vincent Hall, Faceinger 313, Vincent YT, Yellow Alert, Game Guy Rusty, Anon42, Suit, Robert Cephazon, Alex Nelson, I'm going to unban Julius Zeno, Pepsi Man EXE, Christian Long, I'm Justin, The Quacky Gamer, Chocolate Boy 97, Bainbridge, Sean, Kazoy, Maxwell Hairmans, DJ Super Kitty Bot, That One Weird Person I Guess, Mr. Bones, Luminescent Dragon, Jay Snilges, Backzoid, and Jack. Let me know how much this video sucks and how I can improve in the comments below. Everlasting ouchies for watching, and get out of my house.